Welcome to the Crafty Cove walkthrough, featuring some of the new Wake of the Water blocks, furniture, lights, the Waterwheel, the Windmill, and more. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I take you through this quaint village in the Veilwater Basin. And make sure to stick around. There's a teaser at the end for the next addition to Crafty Cove. Just before we begin, I'll be rebuilding some of these structures as standalone guides in my How to Build series. If there's one you want to see first, let me know down in the comments. Let's get started. This is what the scavenger camp looked like before I started building. To give a bit of context, these are the original structures I decided to keep and restore before turning the camp into Crafty Cove. By the way, the underwater altar is such a cool addition in this update. This was one of the original scavenger camp buildings. I turned it into the tide wheel mill, with 3 mills powered by the water wheel. The spot was perfect for a wheel, so it worked out really well. For most of the build, I used the new blocks. Shell limestone for the stonework, half-timbered shell limestone for the wood accents, and palm leaf roof blocks for the roofs. The mill is the one exception. It's built with conifer wood and the new shell limestone shingles. The Waterwheel is one of my favorite additions in this update, and I ended up creating 3 builds that use it. It took a bit of trial and error to get the flow right, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. The main tower was also part of the original scavenger camp. I tweaked the outside and cut out most of the interior so I could add more rooms, and it's now the home of Captain Melville Fontaine, the new Fisher NPC. This is the Galley. There's plenty of counter space, and I added the new coffee drum roaster and the coffee brewery, a perfect fit for this space. The ceiling in the galley is using the new bamboo wood block, perfect for that coastal vibe. Here is the Fisher NPC quarters at the bottom of the tower, a cozy space for Captain Fontaine, and it's right on the water, with a wharf and a fishing hole within casting range. For this build, I managed to get the comfort level up to 108, but I'm not sure if this is the max for Update 7. Here's the Carpenter workshop, with the windmill built on top and a small garden just off to the right. When I started this build, I wanted to keep it compact and make sure the crafting stations stayed close to each other. This is the storage area for the Wandering Mandolin Tavern. From here, the stairs lead up to the top of the tower. This is the Wandering Mandolin Tavern, a small, cozy tavern with keg tables, a bard stage, and purple lighting for the ambience. The bard stage uses the new red carpet block. Such a great new block, and it adds a lot to the tavern. This is the Tavern Inn above the Wandering Mandolin, a small, cozy place to stay. And just outside is the Tavern Outhouse, inspired by a subscriber who commented that they'd click on a how-to video for one. It was a joke, but here it is, the Crafty Cove Outhouse build. This is the Palm Shade Patio, with the new bamboo furniture and the seafood grill on the left. The carved wood trellis was already part of the structure, and since you can't craft it in the game, I built the outdoor area around it and planted a coconut tree in the center. This is the fountain. It took a bit of testing to get the water to flow correctly, but it actually turned out really well. It also adds a nice water sound to this area. This is the Hunter's Tent, one of the original structures. I set up the leather crafting stations beside it so everything is close and easy to use. This is the Twin Brew Tower, an idea I've had for a while, but scaled down so it fits the compact vibe I was going for in this build. I placed the Alchemy crafting stations outside for easy access. Over here is a small farmhouse with a garden just off to the right. I also want to point out that the roof isn't using the prefab 2-meter or 4-meter blocks. I built it with single roof blocks to make the slope less steep. Here's the main garden, with the 2 beehive crafting stations on the left. The layout follows a grid, with the bigger plants and trees at the back and the smaller ones in the front. I set it up with different bed sizes as well, so it's easy to swap plants around whenever I want. Down here are the seedbed crafting stations, built a little lower than the main garden. I also placed the magic chest and some mushrooms underneath the garden, and the whole setup fits the compact Crafty Cove vibe really well. This is the new rice field, using Revelwood soil. The roots need to stay submerged in water for it to grow, which is a pretty cool new addition to gardening. This is the second farmhouse, with a capybara pen for farming capybara bristles and some frizzy goats. I usually swap out the animals depending on what crafting materials I need. I also added a small water wheel, purely cosmetic, but it adds a nice bit of character to the build.
Hello.
I did consider building a barn, but for this build, I kept it compact and simple, combining Emily Frey's living space with 16 small farm pillows for the animals. This is the Waterwheel channel. The wheel only needs a short angled channel to work, but I made this one longer for aesthetics. Over here is the Wheelfire Forge, the blacksmith workshop for Crafty Cove. I added a small water wheel between the workshop and the forge to give the idea that it powers the bellows on the blast furnace. It's just for aesthetics, but it adds a lot of character to the build. I almost forgot to show the Algae Farm. It's set into a small shoreline garden near the mill, and it ended up fitting the space perfectly.
Hi.
Now I'm heading up the walkway toward the Barber on the hill above Crafty Cove. Along the path is a waterfall and small pool I made with the water nozzles. It took some terraforming to get the water to flow properly, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Elio Ricci Barbershop is a small build, placed on the hill just below the tower. I wanted it to sit here overlooking Crafty Cove, so I kept the design quaint to fit the limited space. Here's a quick look at Crafty Cove at night. The lighting really brings the village to life. And to finish off the walkthrough, here's the secret loot room tucked beneath the tower. And that brings us to the last area of Crafty Cove, for now. But before I wrap up, here's a sneak peek at what I'm working on next. Just off the shores of Crafty Cove is a ruined underwater settlement that I'm restoring, using water gates and drains to control the water. This will be the next addition to Crafty Cove, coming soon. And before I go, a big thank you to Keen Games for this update. Wake of the Water far exceeded my expectations. Incredible work. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your time in Crafty Cove. If you're new, consider subscribing. More builds are on the way. See you in the next video.